All right. I'm with Kelly Kaufman. This is the Naked Cat podcast. Tilt it.
Maybe I'll just hold it like this. Is this better?
I don't know what you're... Oh, you're speaking to the backside.
I thought you said to talk to the back.
Oh, switch it.
No, talk to this side?
Oh my God. It's different worlds. Kelly.
I thought I could have sworn that you said talk to the backside.
Have you ever talked to the backside of someone's head, Kelly?
No.
They can't hear you.
If I don't like them, I do. But, you know, I actually have, you know, an confrontational relationship with this mic. So
yeah,
I was talking to the back of it.
Yeah, you were finding your placement.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. Okay, can you hear me like this?
Oh,
too?
yeah, you sound amazing.
Okay.
Angelic.
Okay.
Almost.
Oh, great.
Kelly.
Great. I love that.
Kelly and I were talking a little bit, and she was telling me that you're having a hard time finding friends, Kelly. What's up with that?
Let me preface that
Mind you,
not currently having a hard... I was talking...
You should put out an ad, maybe.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to make an ad. I'm looking for friends. Please help me. You'll make it. You'll do the graphic design for it.
Yeah. I'll do some like posters. We should have you like hugging a tree. I think that would be like a
tree
good
hugger.
Mm-hmm.
She's a flower child and a tree hugger.
Oh, the Oakland people would eat that shit up.
Yeah. I love that.
Well,
no.
So you feel like it's difficult making friends as an adult?
Yeah, I was talking more so about just the trajectory of being alive and like how hard it's been for me to make friends throughout my life. But more specifically as an adult, I just feel like it's extremely hard, you know, especially if you move to a new neighborhood, or not a new neighborhood, but maybe a new state or a new city where you don't know anyone.
Yeah.
I didn't go to college. I had a horrible high school experience. I know I told you about that. So I think people in those scenarios too, it's like extra hard. And then if like you hate everyone at your job, it's like, well, fuck, where do I go from here?
Well, I just hate everyone in general. Like I have a general
I know you were
hate.
saying that. Can you expand
it's
on
just,
your
you know,
hatred of people? I
think there's something to be hated about everyone, and I'm just here to facilitate that. You know what I mean? That's my duty.
I understand.
You know, if you're a very likable person, I will find something.
I get it.
Find the dirt.
I get it. I understand. It's like too good to be true, and then you don't want to get disappointed. So you're like,
puppies, hate them.
Oh, well,
yeah.
Now you might be a psychopath. Yeah, to hate puppies. That might be.
Dolphins go to heaven.
Draw the line.
Puppies don't.
Okay. All right. Apparently, dolphins rape. I just learned
that's
that.
a fucking thing.
Like
Is it an issue?
I literally just learned that from hearing Wally and Abe. Like those are comedians in the scene.
Yeah. Like
telling jokes on stage about dolphins raping people, and I was like, "What?" And they were like, "Yeah, it's a thing." And I was like, "You don't even know physically." Yeah. How that would happen.
They say that the same thing kind of about orangutans. Are you familiar with orangutans? Like
the orange monkeys.
Yeah. And they did like a study or some shit where I don't know who the fuck said this, but basically, if a monkey kills you, not a monkey, but if an ape were to kill you, they just kill you and go along with their days. But a orangutan will kill you and dissect you.
Oh, like cut you open?
Yeah.
And stuff? Wow.
Not not with like a fucking thing.
Like a scalpel.
Yeah.
Break a coconut and cut you open.
It just turns into a doctor.
Out. Oh my God.
But yeah, there's some animals that are fucking crazy. Dolphins are one of them. They're very intelligent. So they probably have weird social dynamics.
Interesting.
I don't know what leads to them committing said rape, but I mean it's pretty fucking horrifying.
Yeah, it's weird because there's a part of me that wants to know what that like looks like, you know, like I don't.
Do you want to know what that looks like?
Like I don't even know, like just because I don't know where I'm going with this. Maybe
well, it sounds pretty fucking gnarly.
But I mean, I just I'm like I don't even know physically how that you know, like our bodies are different. But you know what? Let's
Wait,
change
okay.
the subject. I'm just digging myself in a hole here. And I'm...
But when it comes to adulting,
Okay.
you feel like what creates a hard thing? You said it's going from one location to another, not really digging social constructs like high school. By the way, I just called high school social construct. Shows my
How
opinion of
dare
high
you.
school.
You're a terrible person.
But I feel like adulting is hard in that way that, I mean, shit gets way more awkward. We start to overcomplicate, ideas about people, about things, and I think the for me it's trust. I can't just simply find myself trusting people.
Well, have you had challenges making friends as an adult?
Not necessarily. I typically conduct myself with small circles, so I don't often hang out with people outside of like work. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll hang out with like one person.
So you
What is a friend, Kelly?
Oh, that's such a good question. Let's get to basics.
What's a fucking friend?
I had a question too, but I guess I'll shelf it to answer your question.
Hit me.
I think a friend, I would love to think of a friend honestly as a chosen family member.
Mm-hmm.
I think,
Kelly, what's family to you?
I think, well, and also there are like levels of friendship, but maybe not to get so crazy, like intense about like chosen family member. I feel like a friend is someone that I was talking to a comedian friend the other day, and he said his barometer for like friendship is if you get a flat on a bridge at 4 a.m., like, can you call that person and they'll come get you and help you out, like no questions asked. I feel like there could be a lot of reasons why you couldn't drop everything at 4 a.m. to help someone with their flat on the bridge. But I just think that's an interesting starting point. To me, that sounds more like a best friend.
People you can depend on.
Yeah, people you can, and I also think be vulnerable with and not be scared that they're gonna judge you, like kind of being able to share your most insecure aspects of yourself and know that if you're in a tiff or a fight, they're not gonna throw it in your face or and also give encouraging advice and be supportive and what else? Do fun things together.
My God, what are you in a
Have
fucking
common
relationship with all your friends, dude?
I
Hug
just
you
want to clarify.
in the dead of night.
I don't like the way you're shaping me in this podcast, okay? You're making me this dolphin, erotic dolphin, friend freak, okay?
I want to see what dolphins get into.
I'm going to need to do a podcast after this to clear my name. Clear the name I didn't have that I just made for myself in this podcast.
No, but I mean, it sounds like you care more about the intimacy. I don't like being intimate with friends. You know what I mean? I hate when I hate the idea that friends can judge you. I hate the idea that you can bring someone close into your life and then they could still fuck up your whole shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I hate that. I hate the idea of becoming dependent on someone when it's like if they're having a bad day, they could just say fuck Mario. I'm just gonna fucking fuck him, fuck his whole life, just fucking hate him. You know what I mean?
Well,
I feel like a lot of friends will drag you down when they're kind of in the gutter themselves.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have like boundaries with friends?
Yeah, I
anything?
have like maybe two friends.
Okay, like two actual friends and then like a bunch of acquaintances, you would say?
Yeah.
I wanted to tag back on your, like, something you originally said, because you mentioned that you don't really have trouble making friends as an adult and you hang out in small circles. I was just wondering where you find those circles. Is it like you kind of just depend on people you meet at work and you're like, all right, these people are my friends, or you make friends in comedy, or
I think maybe it's my depiction of what a friend is. Because to me,
what is it?
Thank you. You're like, finally.
Yeah.
My idea of a friend is like, again, someone you can depend on. But for me, it's not like depending on them. I guess, yeah, it's someone you can depend on for sure, but someone you don't do work with, or you can do work with them, but it's someone you can like. I can go out. I can go camping with this guy. I can just, fucking play video games with this guy, or what have you. I just feel like I don't do that often as much as I used to. I've been so prone to just like, all right, work, and everyone's a work friend. You know what I mean?
I totally relate to that. I've just been having a thought recently of like, and I want to change this, but I don't really make the effort to have one-on-one friendships with, because like I feel like we're in a really amazing scene, like this comedy scene in the Bay Area, where I feel like I've found my tribe, honestly, and I'm constantly around people I really like, just in the nature of doing shows and mics and seeing people every day and feeling like I have friends. And just recently reflecting and being like, I don't have anyone like kind of intimate relationship with anyone. And I feel like I'm kind of doing that intentionally because I'm afraid of intimacy.
See, I'm super confused about your lines between a relationship and a friendship with you. Like,
a friendship and a relationship.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Do you think there's no intimacy in a friendship? Like, you think it's no intimacy?
I think there has to be.
Yeah.
I guess that's where I have boundaries. Because it's like, we can be friends, but I just
breathing into this with my nostrils. It's like your mom. It's like when your mom's on the phone and she's just breathing heavily, and you're like, "Mom, stop with your damn nostrils breathing into the phone right now. You sound like Darth Vader." And I'm doing it myself. All right, I'm gonna keep my nose here and my mouth here.
Yeah, when I was in high school, people would be like, "You're a fucking mouth breather." Like, it'd be such an insult because I used to do that too. Because my asthma. But now I just
make fun of you. That's not nice.
Yeah, they called me a mouth breather.
That's not nice.
It's okay. They're not my friends.
I got called way worse. I had a lot of chicken pox scars, and I'd be called Swiss cheese.
Chicken pox?
Yeah, I still have a couple. Yeah, you don't have any? Remember that was really big in the 90s? Like,
chicken pox?
All the kids were getting chicken pox.
I got chicken pox, I think.
Yeah, it was
Were you supposed to die from that? Was that a pandemic?
No. It was just
COVID?
You had a bunch of little
red spots
that were really painful and itchy, and
then every time you scratch it, your mom would hit you.
Yeah.
Did she?
Yeah. Well, I remember her. I have an image of her crying, and her dragging me. This is just so funny of a podcast, right? Just dragging me across the street, like, no, I don't want to move, no. And she's dragging, like, shut up, stop it, like, fun times.
Chicken pox. So yeah. No, but I guess what I'm saying is that, like, you have a friendship. I guess that's my issue. Is I categorize. It's like, you're a friend. This is how friends are. You're like catching yourself.
I caught myself doing it again.
This is how friends are. This is how relationships are. I feel like I lose a lot of friends once they get into relationships because of the parameter.
Oh, that sucks. I've went through that too.
It sucks, but I feel like that's the right kind of boundaries. You know what I mean? I feel like when people don't have boundaries, that's when we typically have
you get enmeshed.
Confusion. You start I don't know, you start getting into weird situationships, or you bring people into your relationship who never really cared about you having a peaceful relationship, in the first place. The friendship was always priority. I feel like it's hard to move on when you don't have boundaries. So when my friends get into relationships, they're now in the friends with relationships category. Before that, it was just friends. We go to bars. And then if I ever got into the relationship friends category, I'm just going to do the same thing that those friends are doing. And then me and those friends would have new activity. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That's nice that you're accepting of that. I mean, maybe you've had a different experience around it, but typically when I've had girlfriends that got into relationships while we were friends, it was like they fell off the face of the earth, which I feel is personally really shitty. Like, you should still be able to have a balance with your other relationships and not just be like, okay, well, I accept I'm not going to hear from this person for the next 6 to 8 months or however long that relationship is, and just accept them. I feel like I'm definitely not capable of unconditional love.
Tell me about that.
I feel like I'm capable of it with animals, and that's where I feel like,
you can love them and not hate them.
Yeah, I'm like, I am an endearing human being. I do have redeemable qualities. I unconditionally love this dog that I never met before, you know?
Yeah.
But with people, man, it's so fucking hard.
Yeah.
Like, I guess I'm just really sensitive, and I have to work on the expectations that I have from people.
Dogs never have ulterior motives.
Yeah.
You know, dogs never plotting on you.
They just want love. They just want to play.
Yeah.
And they want love.
Can you imagine a dog looking at you while you're sleeping? I'm going to kill this bitch.
Pit bulls are like that.
Whoa, pit bull shame. No, pit bulls do
statistics.
Murder.
They do. They murder. They do.
Murder dog
I could
central.
pull up like 5 articles from the last year of them mauling babies or their owners to death.
No, I've seen it.
Yeah,
well, I haven't seen
crazy.
it. My cousin, he had a dog named Max. I'm dropping names. Max. I remember very specifically this day. He had a dog at home named Max, and his grandma had a dog. It was a pit bull. We're walking. We're like fucking kids. We're just walking. And he gets a call from his grandma. And she says, Jordan, Max is dead. And he's just like, what, Grandma? And she's like, the other dog mangled Max. He killed Max.
Oh my God.
And he started crying. And I was like, you fucking loser.
Oh my God. That is.
Oh, he's crying.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I'm a kid. I'm just processing that he's crying.
You sounds like you were already brainwashed at a young age with toxic masculinity. This man's a pussy.
He's a pussy.
Crying.
He's crying about death.
His dog got brutally murdered, and he's a pussy for crying.
No, but it was a sad situation. But yeah, pit bull murders, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
But you got unconditional love. You can't have unconditional love for people. Yeah.
I want to one day. I think when I fall in love, I will.
I think if you're hella rich, you could totally have unconditional love for people.
Really?
Well, think about it. Someone does you wrong, you just buy yourself a little bit more happiness to get over it. You know?
Yeah. I never thought of it like that. But yeah, money can buy happiness.
Because look, being poor really and being jaded.
That's a hard combination. Yeah.
You can't be poor and mad at the world.
Yeah.
You're going to do something bad.
You can't be poor and mad at the world? What? There's so many people like that. What do you mean?
Well, they're mad at the world because they're poor, but you can't be poor, be mad at that, and be mad at the world for just existing. You got to find your happiness. You got to find your centered place, I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's just a bad situation. But when you're rich, you know, people could do wrong, and you could just go to the Balis. You can go to Bahamas. You can go to a tropical beach.
Or just get a really good therapist. Like
you
could have like different categories of therapists. You could have like your romantic relationship therapist, your therapist that helps you with friends, your therapist that helps you with your weird furry kink, like your therapist, like, you know, just like different.
Do you think people with furry kinks are trying to get help for that?
Can you know, I heard, I anticipated a question that you were going to ask me after that.
About furries?
I just,
Kelly, what kind of hole are you digging for yourself today?
Well, It was just top of mind because
Yeah.
I did a show last night and there was a guy in the audience that had a furry kink or whatever, and so it's just been top of mind. But
Tell me about it.
you know, he just offered that information.
Yeah.
When I was performing, so that was interesting, and yeah.
That's a wild kink. I mean, what do these people dress up like? Fucking
I feel
big
like,
ass animals,
yeah,
and they pretend to be the animal.
I feel like it's people dressed up like Muppets and then they're fucking in the suits. I mean, that's kind of my thought. So interesting.
What's the ideology behind it? Do you think they're fucking as Muppets, or do you think they're fucking as animals?
I have no idea. I have no idea what happened, like what twists have to happen in a person's mind to be into certain things, or just have... I know there are people that love cars, that fuck cars.
People fuck cars?
Yeah. Like, it's like
what
object sexual or something.
Kelly, if you were to fuck a car...
No. No, we're not. No.
Call dibs on the exhaust.
You can fuck a car and I'll film it and put it on YouTube. Yeah.
I don't think it would go on YouTube. I think it'd be more on Pornhub.
TikTok.
Or maybe like a Ford commercial.
Yes.
You like this Ford? Come fuck it. I mean, we're all fucking it.
Yeah.
This new exhaust? Preem.
I'm surprised that there hasn't been a commercial like that already. I have
Where
a question.
They just sexualize the car?
Yeah, for sure. I have a question.
Yeah.
Have you ever like overshared in the realm of making new friends, and what's your story on that? Has there ever been someone you're like, damn, I really want to be their friend, and then you like overshared way too much and freaked them out, and they like just avoided you for the rest of their life?
No.
No?
No. Kelly, has that happened to you?
Maybe, but I'm just trying to find, I don't know,
I don't
like
overshare.
let's get into it. Let's
get
into awkward making friend situation. So you've never had an awkward friend making situation?
Not necessarily.
Really?
I don't.
Are you lying?
No, I don't overshare.
Or maybe not just oversharing.
Or
but
I watch people more than I talk to people. Does that make sense? Like, if I don't know you, I'll watch you like a fucking hawk. I won't speak to you. I watch who you watch. I pay attention to the people you're paying attention to. If I'm needing to meet you at some point, I'll just keep you, I'll just like examine who you are as a person. You know, if we happen to make a joke in proximity to each other, that's when, you know, we become friends. But
that's your barometer for becoming friends. So you basically
it's a proximity
watch a person.
thing.
You just watch a. So you're kind of scanning people.
I people watch.
You people watch.
Yeah, because I don't know. It's just I think it's. I don't like to aggressively go out and meet people. Not that I think I'm like cool or anything. I've always been like that. When I was in I used to jump from school to school, like growing up.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Me meeting new friends was people always being like, hey, come and sit with us, you know, kind of deal. And I just gotten so used to that to where, you know, as an adult, people don't ask you to come sit with them unless they're a fucking psychopath, you know. Come and sit with me. Can you imagine?
Well, if it's like that, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You know, old lady off the street, come and sit with me.
That's so interesting. Like, I would imagine. Yeah, it's interesting to think how in your formative years having an experience like that would impact how you view and like, what, is there a bird?
No, just maybe a water bottle.
Oh, I thought there was like a bird or something. That'd be cool if a bird
just
flew
came into my apartment.
Yeah, I would love that. I mean, it's possible. Your door's open.
Yeah.
You know, it could happen.
That was my bird call.
Nice.
But
nice.
I don't like I don't like to feel like a bother. I don't like to feel like I'm overstaying my welcome. I don't like to over talk. I just, you know, if if we just happen to meet, like, awesome. A lot of the times I meet people like working, I see like sketches, podcasting. That to me is like work. So I'm never afraid to hit up people in that regard. Do people see that as friendship? Maybe. There's a lot of people who probably see me as a friend. I just have different parameters of what it means to be a friend. I've for sure one of my really good friends is my homie John Paul. Just because like he was just one of those guys who was like, hey, what are you doing after this? Kind of,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, nothing, I get, and then we just started hanging out more. Became my buddy. But it's like mutual interest. I think nowadays it's often we always see what we can get out of a person, especially in California. I feel like the hang is like superficial to me. It's a lot of times it doesn't feel real.
I feel that way in LA because I used to live in LA. I found LA I think I've just lived in places where it's genuinely, objectively really difficult to make friends. Like I was born and raised in New York City and I went to private school. I was not a rich kid. My mom, got us in on financial aid. She was a single parent. So I never really fit in. That was really tough. And then I lived in LA for several years and it just felt like everyone there already had their friends and weren't interested in making new friends. And it was like, it felt like I missed my cutoff for making friends, and then I came out here and I feel like I'm like, oh, I'm not crazy. I just was like in two of the biggest asshole cities in America.
Yeah.
And now it's really more a matter of me like sticking my neck out and trying to initiate one-on-one relationships with people. But I mean, I think a lot of people refer to me as their friend and I think of people as my friend, but I think I've just been more introspective lately about like the level, like, like a surface friend versus like a close friend, that kind of stuff.
Friendship is hard work too.
Yeah.
Like you were talking earlier about how you hate it when friends move on. Or you don't.
Oh, yeah.
You hate
when they get in a relationship and move on.
Yeah.
I tried to.
What's your thought on that?
I tried to, this was like a really defining moment when I realized I can't save everybody because I had this, because I want to save everyone and I know I have to work on that, but I had this friend, like a relatively close friend, and she got into this really bad relationship. Like this guy was just such a piece of shit, like, ugh, and he was gross and slimy and ugh. All these things, like just from the beginning, just treated her like crap. And I have a really amazing therapist, and I was like, oh my God, like I'll recommend my therapist, like, to be their couples therapist, and it's gonna save them and blah, blah, blah. And I did, and they ended up seeing him, and it was like a horrible experience, and she like hated him, my therapist, and all this stuff, and it was just like such a crazy experience of like surrender of like, oh, I don't have all the solutions for people, and I can't save my friends.
I think the idea.
I'm trying to open this bottle.
You need help?
I might do it like this.
I think the idea that you wanted to save him might have been the start of the problem, right?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, in my opinion, people don't change unless they're in like a life or death situation, right?
Or they like really want to.
Or they know they have to. A lot of people change when they have children.
Yeah.
They become more parental and stuff, more mature. Or just like, something happens in their life that is really like, oh, God told me to change or whatever the fuck they say, But the idea that you can save anyone from themselves is fucking gnarly, because at the end of the day, the only person who can fix them is them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Somebody say, you know that song?
No.
Dude, you don't know that song? Oh, you gotta
I live
listen.
under a rock. I'm an old soul. What do you think of kids? Are you someone that wants to have kids? I just heard you mention kids, so that it just popped into my head.
One of these days. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Okay.
It'd be cool. I have to like be settled, you know, in a place where I'm like, oh, I can raise a family here, kind of deal. You know what I mean? But I do one day. You know, when I hit 30, I was like, I had like kid fever. I'm like, oh my God, all my sisters are having kids. My little sisters are having kids. I was like, I need to have a fucking kid. Like in my mind, I was like,
that's a horrible reason to have a kid.
Dude, it's
just scary that some people like have kids based off of that. And it's like the most important thing you could do. That's my biggest pet peeve. Because
when I was growing up, my cousins were all the same age. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, dang, I didn't love my childhood, but the aspects of my childhood that I did love was that I grew up with all my cousins and all my sisters. We were all in the same age group, you know. You
did or you didn't love that?
That was the one aspect I did love. You know, the how close me and my family were, or me and my relatives, and you know. So at one point I was like, dang. And in my mind, at 30 is when I wanted to have my first kid. I'd always envisioned that. But, you know, things change. I grew out of my baby fever, you know, and I was just like, fuck them kids, you know?
I think kids are so annoying. I cannot stand them. Maybe that'll change one day, but they bug me.
They bug you?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're loud.
Unless they're really cute and they have a great personality, you know. Yeah. They're, like, really funny. They're a really developed little child, you know. Like, then I'm like, that kid's awesome. But otherwise, I'm like, stay away, please.
Yeah, I'm not watching your fucking kids, you know. Some people adopt because they have that same, you know, idea. They're like, I want a child that's more mentally developed, that I can just, you know, help along the way, versus one fucking creating one. You know what I mean? Why start from scratch when you can buy an Audi? You know?
No. I mean
pre-owned.
I mean more
hey, would you like to buy this pre-owned child?
No. That's not what I meant.
Tell me about their parents.
I meant
crackheads.
Oh God. That's sad. I meant more like, I've met a 5-year-old or two, you know, that are just like, their mind is there. They've got a personality. Yeah. They're adorable. Like, you know, like, or just like, they're really cute. Like they're cute and they're funny and not necessarily older, but you know, they're just, they stand out. They're a distinguished person.
Yeah. You feel like they're on the right path.
Maybe. Yeah. They're just, they're fun, and they're not just like a typical like blah like kid being fucking annoying. Being a brat. That's a horrible word.
A brat.
Yeah.
No, it's you know, some kids are bratty, some adults are bratty.
Oh, for sure.
Fuck. I have one of my buddies. When he gets drunk, he becomes a fucking brat.
Really? What does he do?
Like for work?
No. I meant the like, what is No. Oh, really? What does he do for a living? That's not what I meant.
Yeah, he works in a daycare. That's why he's a fucking nice.
No. I meant what
what does he do to be a brat?
Yeah, what is the brat behavior look like?
Dude, he starts throwing things.
What?
Yeah, he starts fucking throwing heavy objects.
What
he just
hell?
He gives me that look where he's like, I'm like, don't you fucking look at me like that.
Ew.
Go to your room, dude.
Oh my God, that's so annoying. I would ditch someone like that.
He goes, I go,
I'm trying to suffer less.
But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. I'm like, very much.
Actually, we got to meet a quota this week.
I'm trying to be a lot more. Suffering just takes like life out of life, juice out of me. So I'm just trying to, I think that is what is kind of contributing to the avoidance that I've kind of been acting out in our scene a little bit.
Yeah,
like
tell me
with,
about that.
well, just because I'm not making any, I've realized I'm not making any effort to have any kind of like one-on-one real friendships with people. And I feel like, you know, I'm trying to avoid suffering in that, you know, and disappointment.
Because you don't want to, is it kind of like...
I put people on a pedestal for sure.
Yeah.
I put people on a pedestal, and I also like something I'm working on is I will make inferences about people like, oh, because they act like this, it means that they would be like this in this situation, or they probably like this or dislike that, you know. And then when I learn that that's not true, it's like insanely disappointing. And so I've been just, I feel like the distance has been helping to kind of have more of like a scope to really learn who people are and like the spectrum of people, and
needing the hard evidence.
Yeah, like I'm also constantly I'm really grateful for our scene, because I feel like mostly everyone is really genuine and nice and supportive. And I feel like doing something like stand up that is so vulnerable and so scary, you need that. I don't think I'd be able to do this if the scene wasn't as supportive as it is. I mean, can you think of a more vulnerable art form than stand-up comedy? Like, is there, I was thinking about this on the way here, is there like an art form that requires people to be naked or something? Like, because that's
stripping.
Strippers. Would you consider that? I guess it is an art form.
Tell them. Can you imagine a stripper being like, this is a fucking art form?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't judge strippers at all.
No, like some of them do see it as an art.
Yeah, I mean, I think technically, it could. I guess I was thinking from a career standpoint.
Of just like hey, I'm a person on stage, and I'm gonna give you all my dirty deeds.
I guess you can have a career out of being a stripper. I personally No, I want to be really clear that I completely respect strippers and sex workers, and I don't think that they you know, men invented those industries. They invented the supply and demand for those, you know, those jobs. And I feel like women should absolutely not be shamed for doing those things.
Hey, no shame in the game.
Yeah. So, yeah, but I guess, stripping. Yeah, besides stripping, but really, like, can you think like is nudist like an art? Like, you could say I'm a nude body artist. I mean, I'm really trying to think, like, what is... I feel...
You'd be more specific in the category, because what is comedy? Comedy is... It's a theatrical performance, right? You're doing it. You're in a theater, typically in front of a crowd.
Yeah.
With a mic, and you're just talking at people. What could that be compared to? Maybe rapping. Yeah,
but rapping is not more vulnerable than...
You don't think so?
Stand up. Yeah.
Have you listened to Eminem?
I mean, I think when you have music, though, you have other protection mechanisms. Like, you have instruments, and a lot of times you have other people on stage with you, and you're like singing a song or rapping a song. To me, it's not as vulnerable as like literally going on stage with no one, no music, no nothing, and you're literally trying to... That's the other thing with music and stuff, because you're up there and you're not really dependent on this is huge. You're not dependent on a reaction from the audience on whether, oh, I did well tonight because they laughed or not. You can, I mean, that's a huge part of it.
Sometimes people, not to like, what do you call it?
It's okay. You can
just
disagree with me.
Devil's advocate.
Yeah.
I've gone to concerts where people, they go on stage, they're like, hey, what's up, everybody? And there's just fucking dead silence. And they're like, okay, well, I'm gonna do my songs for you guys.
That was me last night. That was me last night in Santa Cruz. I'm kidding, sort of.
But I guess my opinion on comedy is that, yes, it's vulnerable, but I think more than vulnerability, it's arrogance, right? You're telling me you're going to go on stage, say things that are going to make people laugh. There's nothing vulnerable about that sort of arrogance. You know what I mean? I'm literally on stage. I'm going to say things that may seem vulnerable, but how I'm telling them, it's like, oh, this guy is arrogant. He knows his reality. Right, he knows what makes me laugh. Kind of, I don't know. It's just I feel like it's very egotistical.
Well, it definitely takes a certain kind of person to be a stand-up comedian. I think there definitely is a level of narcissism, you know, like where you need that level. I mean, people have talked about that where you definitely, not saying you're a bad person, but you are a certain kind of person that needs that level of attention. Like you need to, and I'm fully aware of that. But you know,
but also seeing like joke structure, your vulnerability is your ammunition. Does that make sense? Like I'm gonna go on stage and tell everyone I'm fat to get a laugh because I think that's so beautiful. But that's what I'm saying. There's nothing vulnerable about.
I think that's so vulnerable.
There's something vulnerable about that for sure, but I don't think that's the keystone of when you're up there.
I think.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I think the only way to get it to work is to be that confident on stage.
Of course.
If you are not confident about going up there talking about like your weight or you know, your mental health or your childhood trauma or whatever it is, then it is a sad sob story where it's embarrassing. You know, so I
secondhand embarrassment.
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like some people can be arrogant about it, but I think the word is more confidence. I think it's so incredible, like when I watch comedians like talk about like the fact that you can do that in comedy, because I feel like in music a lot of like the vulnerability that's talked about in songs is you know, really lost in like the poetic language or you know, the musicality or the instruments, and you know, like
you feel like there's distractions.
Yeah, when I hear like Taylor Swift, like you know, or whatever, like some of these people, you know, and it's like I do not relate to that at all. That is not like.
Is there music that you do relate to?
Oh yeah, I love Kurt Cobain.
Is there music that you've cried to, Kelly?
Yes.
Why'd you cry?
There's two songs that I cried to. One is the cover song that Nirvana did to Where Did You Sleep Last Night? It was like a song by Lead Belly. He did like a live cover for MTV Unplugged.
What made you cry?
His voice, like especially oh my God, yeah. I remember being in a cabin hearing that song and just like this, like some of his screams, like you could just feel all the pain in that. And he was just a real no bullshit person to me. And then the other song, and I so relate to him, but that's another thing. The other song is a song called Stars by Nina Simone. She's one of my favorite artists.
She's kind of jazzy, right?
Yeah. And that song just takes me to the end of my life. Like the words, let me try to recall some of them. It's like stars, they come and go, they come fast, they come slow, they go like the last sun in a blaze. Oh fuck, I wish I remembered more but she's basically telling this story of like chasing your dreams and then it's like over, you know, because you're at the end. You should listen to it.
It sounds deep.
Yeah, it's really deep. Yeah, it's like, I feel like it's really hard for music to be deep today without cringy, you know, and like that song, and also I think all of Kurt Cobain's stuff is. You want to play it, Stars?
No, because I get copyrighted. Oh, I've already made that mistake.
Damn copyright.
Do you like Billie Eilish?
I think I'm not like necessarily into. I'll be totally frank with you. I don't really listen.
Well, don't be Joe.
Don't be Joe.
So you're gonna be Frank.
Oh, haha, hilarious. Ba-dum-bum.
Ba-dum-ching, or whatever. But what's up? That's my phone ringing.
Oh yeah, do you want to
that.
get that?
But tell me, talk about that more. I can hear you still.
I was just saying that I don't really listen to today's music, and I try to live under a rock as much as possible.
What?
I just personally, and
there's no artist right now that you're listening to that you're like, oh, I do like this artist.
I do like Billie Eilish. I mean, I think she's incredibly talented. Yeah. It's just like, I feel like I think her fusions with kind of dubstep and electronica and pop music, that's where I don't like also Demi Lovato's kind of similar, where I think she's so talented, but I don't like her music. I just honestly feel like after like the late 1990s, like I noticed like a real change in sound where like corporations just took massive control over the music industry, and like I can just hear the genericness in music today, like in beats, and I just feel like a lot of the instrument patterns and songs are things I've heard in other songs and everything, you know, but it's kind of to the point where I just know that that's true for me, and I don't have like the energy or interest to argue that with anyone.
I challenge you. This is your. Can I give you homework, Kelly?
Yeah, sure.
Here's your homework. Listen to "Wildflower" by Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. Billie
Eilish.
She's also, from what I've heard, a little bit of a Nepo baby, so I'm not a total fan of that. I do have a chip on my shoulder with Nepo babies, especially with going to private school in New York City and like experiencing those kids firsthand. But I'll just be real about that.
Don't you feel like Nepo baby is kind of like don't you feel like it's kind of like an open term? Because what I've been noticing is people have been perceiving... Are
they stretching it?
I think people are stretching it,
Well, no, I wouldn't agree with that. No, I think the basic definition...
What is that?
I think the basic definition is you have a family member that is wealthy or super connected or both in the given industry that you want to pursue, and they... open doors for you and give you opportunities that you normally wouldn't have had. So it's like a massive career acceleration. Like I know you probably don't know who this guy is because he's not super famous, but he's been in a lot of movies. Lucas Hedges, his dad. Oh, you know who he is?
No, I'm just agreeing.
Oh, okay.
Being agreeable.
His dad is Peter Hedges, I think, a director, and like his first movie was fucking Moonrise Kingdom, like a Wes Anderson movie.
Yeah.
Like,
well, okay.
You know,
here's my devil's advocate part.
I don't think I could even be an extra in Moonrise Kingdom if that was like my first movie. Like being an extra would be like,
imagine we're in the olden days. You're a blacksmith and you got a son and he wants to be a blacksmith. But people are telling him you got lucky. Your dad's a blacksmith.
I think
fuck you.
Look.
Fuck
That's
you.
Different.
Fuck you, blacksmith son. Because guess what? We know you're connected.
Look, okay, that is very different. But I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up because there is a difference. There's a difference between when, because I heard like Johnny Depp's daughter, Lily Rose Depp talk about that, where she was like, I don't get it. I don't get why people, a lot of people have parents that are doctors and then they become doctors. And it's like, no, that's not what we're talking about. Like, yes, you can have a mom that's a lawyer and you became a lawyer, but there's like a power and influence dynamic. Like just because your mom owns a barber shop and then you become a hairdresser because your mom, that's not the same as your mom being a celebrity hairstylist and now you have a full-blown career where you make a living, like because your mom opened this door to all these crazy connections where you like have all these opportunities and can like make a living and be wealthy. Not just make a living, but be wealthy.
My thing is like, if you are a Nepo baby or whatever, I think it's like, it's one thing if you suck at what you do. Say your mom was a hairstylist and you become some hairstylist because you got the connections, whatever, and you just fucking suck at doing hair. People got more complaints about you than nothing.
Like Kendall Jenner is a model.
I don't know. Can't speak on what I don't know, Kelly. But you know what I'm saying?
She pops up on my Explore page sometimes. I love how I'm like just roasting famous people. Like if I make it, this is gonna go all over the internet. I don't fucking care.
No, I think it's a general experience. I think a lot of people hate people who are not necessarily hate, but a lot of people feel
where the talent is not merited. I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
you're saying it's one thing if it's one thing if
you get the role.
If you're really if you talented,
fucking suck.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think it doesn't. It's obviously worse if you're not talented or mediocre, and it's like evident that you wouldn't be having the opportunities or the career you have if your parents weren't who they were or your family member wasn't who they were.
Yeah.
Like obviously, but I still think it's like the whole spectrum because there are still people that are just as talented as those super Nepo babies. Yeah. Or
what do you think about Nepo friends? I think they're the real scourge.
Do you mean if you have a friend that's a Nepo baby?
No, a Nepo friend. Basically, they're benefiting off the friend.
Oh,
boom.
Oh, okay.
They're the silent killers.
Here's the thing. I thought about that. I thought about this. I think that's different because you created that opportunity. You weren't born into it. I think if you're born on this earth and you develop relationships and make connections based off of your own volition, that's totally like your ball game.
Like, you could be born into it. You could be born into a friendship.
Yeah. That I would say is different. Like if you're born into, like, let's say that
you don't even know any Nepo friends, huh?
Let's say that
silent killers.
Let's say that, for whatever reason, your parents aren't famous or whatever, but they just happen to be best friends with Gwyneth Paltrow or whatever it is. Yeah. I would say, yes, that's the same thing because you're still growing up in that world, in those connections. You're like family to those people. They're like family to you. But I'm saying off the cuff as an adult or something, you just happen to make friends with Pete Davidson or whoever it is. Yeah. like that's totally like you made that happen.
Yeah, you
like
worked hard
that's
for it. In your mind. Yeah,
it happened for you. I think like childhood friends, like family friends, like that whole thing, I think that is still under the same category as, because it's something you were born into that you didn't do anything to attain.
See, I don't know. It's just I don't have any fear of Nepo babies. You know what I mean? Like I think it's a general fear that someone can get
taking up all the opportunities.
Yeah, and I think that's a lack of an abundant mindset. In reality, we all can,
like a scarcity mindset. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think
they're taking our jobs.
They're the Mexicans of the rich.
They're taking our jobs.
They're like, you know, it's funny because like Trump is always
deport the Nepo babies.
Yeah, deport Nepo babies. Deport Mexicans. No, I'm just quoting Trump. That's not me.
Yeah.
I'm Latina.
Hashtag Trump.
Yeah. To be very clear, I was quoting Trump. I am a Latina. Okay.
Yeah.
I was just making a comparison how the far right and righties in general complain about Mexicans taking.
Kelly, we've moved on.
Okay, all right. Okay.
You don't need to explain yourself.
Okay.
We moved on.
All right, we've moved on.
Deport the Mexicans.
You are running the show here. You're running the show here. So
I'm just kidding. But no. I totally understand where you're coming from. But I don't know. The Nepo babies, it's just, I think it's a fear. I think it's a scarcity mindset. Mindset.
I know what you mean.
I'm writing that new word down. But I don't know. It's a fear. It's a fear. I think once we start doing that, once we start thinking that, like, I don't know, that these people can take things from us, unless it's like factual, objectional, like a very objective thing, like, you know, because at the end of the day, every director, every person who's heading a project has a vision, right? If that person just so happens to fit the vision,
be their goddaughter,
you know.
My goddaughter would be perfect for this.
Maybe that was the inspiration. Can you fault him for that? You know?
No. I don't think, for me, it's not only the opportunity thing, it's also the attitude and environment it creates, because especially just coming from personal experience of growing up around Nepo babies and not fitting into the world. I'm not saying all Nepo babies are like this, but there's enough amount that are, where there's just an ignorance about how life works, and therefore an arrogance and a classism and an exclusivity attitude that is then emanated in that culture or that industry, because they do dominate the industry and they make it harder. So it's not just from a perspective of taking away opportunities from people, which I think to a certain extent they do. I wouldn't say across the board.
Sure.
But to a certain extent, for sure, like if a director or whatever is making a movie, that's like one less role that they're casting for
100%.
Because someone's granddaughter, you know, but there could be a bunch of other girls that look like her or better and are more talented that could have auditioned for that. You know what I mean?
Did you hear about that whole Northwest Lion King fiasco? If it was a fiasco, I don't know. But basically, I'll show you. Basically, there was a big event.
Like New York and California thing?
I don't know where it was, but are you familiar with the Lion King musical?
In New York City on Broadway. Yes.
I don't know if it was in New York City. It's, you know, sometimes they travel. But basically it was a big performance. I think it was in LA, where a portion of the concert was dedicated to Lion King the musical. A bunch of people auditioned for. Are you familiar with Lion King?
Of course.
Thank
yeah.
God.
That's a classic.
It's a classic. It's a classic.
I'm gonna know the classic stuff.
But basically, a lot of little girls audition.
For what
I think
role?
It was girls, or I don't know if it was girls and boys, because it was the role of Simba in that the snippet of the musical, and basically Northwest beat out the entire audition pool.
Ew.
And then when she went to do her performance, it wasn't like a crazy amazing performance. Now whether it was
that's
hey,
really
this
upsetting.
is our celebrity guest, because sometimes they do that, right? Sometimes shows will be like, hey, this is Pauly Shore singing a song from Aretha Franklin. Like, it's Pauly Shore, you know what I mean? But a lot of people were like, this is a Nepo situation.
Yeah, of course.
So a lot of people got mad. A lady posted on TikTok, she was like, my daughter auditioned for this, and this is what happens.
Yeah.
This is what happens. She was pissed.
I get it. I think it would be one thing to lose out. I think it would be one thing to lose out to someone else that's on the same level. But, like, to me, that's super evident.
And you got to see it. I'm going to show you.
Oh, great. Is this the performance?
This is the performance.
This is great.
So listen, I was 12 years old when I recorded the singing voice of young Simba for the 1994 production. And this movie, it literally changed my life.
He's a great person, a great actor.
So many generations.
By the way, he's getting paid on Lion King.
Across the globe. I could never imagine that people would still be listening and singing along to the music 30 years later. And I'm so honored to be here tonight to introduce our next performer, who is making her Hollywood debut.
See, Hollywood debut. That's why
So listen, she's only 10 years
the stank.
Please welcome the brilliant Northwest. Let's go.
Ew.
So a lot of people had a problem with this because they're like, what the fuck? But I mean, here it goes.
I bet they covered this on the Kardashians. I wouldn't know because I don't watch that show, but I bet you they made a whole episode after this. Are you kidding me?
Okay, I'm gonna stop it right there. A lot of people have problems with that. Obviously, you can tell
for
why.
Sure. Yeah. When was that? Was that a few years ago?
No, dude, this was like 2 weeks ago.
No way.
Yeah.
I didn't know she was only 10. I mean, that's also a family that I try to block out pretty intensely based off of
Tony,
what I've told you so far.
Did you watch the
baby stuff?
Did you watch the roast of Tom Brady?
A little bit. Nikki Glaser.
She killed. Yeah,
she was incredible.
Yeah, Tony. During Tony Hinchcliffe's part, he ends it roasting Kim Kardashian, just fucking going ham.
I heard about that and I saw a little bit of it, and what I'll say is I'm really glad that you brought that up, because I'm really pissed that he made it like a whole misogynistic thing.
Do you want to watch it real quick?
Sure, yeah, let's watch it. And then I'll roast him.
Gnarly. She held her shit together, dude. Held her shit together.
I just am sick of men, and I have no tolerance for male comics that roast women with misogynistic jokes.
Yeah.
I just think and especially with the Comedy Central roast, I feel like it's always the male comics go to if there are female comics on the show or female celebrities. It's just like, well, yeah, let's just talk about her ass or her tits or who she fucks or her vagina looking weird or whatever it is. And it's like, I just feel if you were a true artist and like a comedian that had real craftsmanship, you would be able to come up with actual jokes that actually insult like their character. And there's so many things.
I think there were many layers to the
there's so many things to roast about Kim Kardashian. What about the fact that she has sweatshops like making her clothes? What about the fact that, I don't know if the sweatshop thing is still real, but I know that came out like 10 years ago. I mean, there are just so many like legitimate things, like shitty things that they have done that don't have to. That's the one thing that I would argue in defense of them. And really any woman, like if they were attacking Ann Coulter like sexually, I'd be like, don't just like, I just think
close your legs, Ann.
Like literally, like that's just me showing the spectrum that it doesn't have to do with me liking the woman or not. Just like the principle of, I just think it's disgusting. It's really funny. I was in LA last week and I was doing an open mic, and I do not like the LA comedy scene. It's terrible. Just really quick, what I learned there is everything costs money, like to do a mic. It's like $3 to $5, and it's also, that's not even the worst part, it's a bucket system. So you put your name in a bucket and you could sit there for 2 hours and maybe not even get to go up, and you paid to go there. Like, it's ridiculous, and people are cold and unfriendly. I was there for a festival, so I'm not like looking to move there or anything.
Tell me about that festival you did. It was recent. It was like a woman festival. What was it about?
That was last week. But I really want to finish this
this
sexist story first. I'm very excited about it. So I went to this open mic, and it was my first LA open mic. This was last week, and the comic before me, who also ran the open mic, he was just talking about, Sydney Sweeney from Euphoria. He was talking about her and like her boobs and all this stuff. And then I went on stage after him, and I was like, I'm so nervous to be here in the LA scene, not knowing what to expect. But then I have a guy come up in front of me and talk about a girl's tits. And you know what? All the scenes are the same. I'm right at home here, And I said, I was like, you remind me of that one rapper, like literally that one rapper in the scene that was prolific and amazing and like genuinely made great art without having to objectify women. Oh wait, there isn't one. And the whole room just started laughing. And then apparently when I left, I was like, I'm never coming back here. But I was kidding. Like, here's the thing, here's my take on this. Like, even out here, sometimes male comics will make sexist jokes or transphobic jokes or racist jokes or whatever, and like they're clearly being sarcastic, but it's still kind of like, why are you even saying this? But like, my take on it is, I'll just roast you. Like, I'm just gonna make fun of you for, like, I'm not gonna shun you, or unless you like insanely cross a line, then
you're heading for the misogyny.
Like for me, like, even, I'll just roast you. Like, I know that there's free speech. I know that, I run a mic too. So I do have, there are like a couple male comics that I've banned just because of like, they have crossed that line, but there's really not too many in our scene, which is great. But there are a couple that, sometimes kind of dance on that line, and I think they just kind of get off on it. And like, for me, the way I take it is like, I'm gonna make a joke about you, I'm gonna roast you and make you feel super uncomfortable, and you can't call me out on it, because like, if you dish it, you have to take it, kind of thing. So and then, okay, I just wanted to finish that story. And I want to end on, I love men. I do. I actually really like, I do like men. I just, there are certain aspects that certain men do that really just bother me.
100%. Some dudes are annoying. I get that. Do you ever feel like some comedy is off limits?
I don't think any topic is off limits. It's what you do with it.
Yeah.
And how you talk about it.
It's almost like dolphin rape.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah. I mean, I think you can.
Is that off limits?
I think you.
Let me see what they're about.
Yeah. Like, I want to. Whatever. I'm not even gonna put myself in a hole.
I'm gonna go to that aquarium today. Yeah. Fact or fiction? I will prove it myself.
Yeah.
We're coming to an end here, Kelly. Do you have any shows coming up?
I do. I have quite a few. So what's today? Friday?
Today's Friday, yeah.
So next Wednesday, I have the Santa Cruz Brewing show. I think it's at 7.
Are you going to enjoy the beach day?
Like go to the beach before? I should.
Yeah, you totally should. Make a day out of it.
Yeah. I'm pretty regular on Hella Funny now, so I don't even... sometimes I promote it, but I'm doing Hella Funny this Sunday. I'm doing their 6 p.m. show at Fluid 510 out here in Oakland.
Yeah,
so you should come to that. Hella Funny is awesome. Honestly, I'm in my first year of comedy, and they've been a huge part in giving me a lot of stage time, and I just feel like that's a huge part of growing as a comic, because you're just not gonna grow when you're trying to make your current material better, when you're saying the same shit in front of the same 5 comics that 100%. Are like, that's clever, Yeah,
you get to grow with a real audience.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Definitely.
Well, thank you for coming on the Naked Cat podcast.
Naked Cat.
That's
I want to say something. I would like to believe that I'm the first person you told about this podcast.
Yeah.
I remember you talking to me about it. You're like, I'm going to start a podcast. It's about current events. And I was like, well, I don't really know about current events. And you're like, it's fine. You could talk about whatever. I'm just kidding. I know about current events. I don't. I know nothing. But you were like, yeah, it's Naked Cat. And I was like, what? Is this about cats? And you were like, no, I just naked cats. I was like, okay. And then you showed me a video of a naked cat being pet.
Oh,
yeah, I think you did.
Yeah, serial killer vibes. Whoa.
I like to feel like I was the OG that knew about this before it happened.
Yeah, you knew about the storm before it occurred.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
It's an honor to be a part of it today.
Thank you. Thank you for being so supportive.
Oh, yes. I support you a lot.
I'm going to cry after this.
Oh.
I want you to know that.
Let me watch.
Let me watch. You're in the corner. I'm like,
handing you tissues.
Yeah. You're like, yeah, keep
pour
going.
Some cold water on you. Snap out of it. Stop it. You're a pussy. Just like that guy you called when his dog got ripped to shreds.
So rest in peace, Max. This podcast is in memory of Max.
In memory of Max.
Thank you.
Peace out.
Kelly.
Thank you.